Welcome back. Hello, you beautiful noodles, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalia if you're new, and if you are new, on Mondays, I do Music Monday videos. Walk into the room and I feel the stairs. You're wondering if the talent claimed is really here. Yes, you read the title correctly. This is week 5 of The Artist Way. Let me explain. If you're coming from my last video, which technically was week 7, I know you're a bit confused. I didn't upload week 5, nor did I record it, and I'll tell you why. One, I had a lapse in my numbers when I was going back to re-record things, so I would have caught it and did it back when I was doing my catch-up videos. But also, this was the week that I went to Montana with my friends, which was super fun, and I'm trying to figure out if I even have enough footage to make that into a vlog. Yes, I'm using a lot of old content. I've recorded so many videos I've recorded them. So we're going to put the content out. It's going to get out there. It's part of this journey. Anywho, this week, I'm doing week 5 and week 8. So you should watch it in the order that it's supposed to go in, which I will have in a playlist correctly. But if you want to watch it in the order of what I've uploaded, then you can just do that. Anywho, let us, without further ado, get into the things. All right. As I said, we are here, okay, in this bookie room on week 5. And week 5, handy dandy iPad with my notes. Week 5 is recovering a sense of possibility. So in an effort to transport myself where I was mentally, emotionally, all that during week 5, I went ahead and read my week 5 journal pages. And that's actually a part of the process for I believe it was week 8. Yes, that's part of the process for week 8. So this was kind of full circle, me going back to read those to do this video, but it was also saying to go read some of your journal entries to see how far you've come. And it's interesting, right? Because there are things that I was reading in those journal entries where I'm like, oh my goodness, I am still pushing through and working through that. But then there were other things I read and I was like, no, me writing that down was the first step in me actually thinking about it outside of just, ruminating in my head, rolling over all of my thoughts and all that stuff. That was the first time that I actually sat down and thought about it. And it also helped that I was in the beautiful state of Montana, specifically where it was a Big Bear. There's hiking over there, and you go over there specifically for the hiking. I can't remember the name of it, but I will pop it up here. This will be some of the very, very light editing, but I'll pop it up in there. And I remember that they had beautiful colored rock beaches, which felt like I was back a kid at family member's lake. Like, it was great. It was a great time. Anywho, transporting myself back there, and here we go. The first thing that they addressed is limits. And we impose a lot of self-limits onto ourselves, really because there's a lot of things that we haven't seen being done. Like, we don't know someone personally that did the things that we're trying to do. So we've only seen the outcome. Like, we've only seen the end goal, right? We haven't seen the steps that it takes to get there. So then we become very limiting in our thought processes. And it's like, oh, well, I could do that, but then I probably have to do this, that, and the third. Again, not knowing someone that's already done the thing. And also in that limitedness of you imposing self-limits, yes. In that, we're also telling God or, the source, universe, whatever you like to call it, that this is something that you can't do for me. So I already know, and I'm not going to ask for it because you can't do that for me because I want it and I believe it, but I don't believe that you can get me that far, right? So that, realizing that was the thought process that was happening, I, did shame myself a little bit. There was a little bit of, hey, you really want this. Why are you acting like this is something you can't have if you really do want this? A little self-check, which was very nice to have. And also thinking about where we were, right? Like, we were in a friend's, it was my friend's mom's friend's place. And they were like, oh yeah, no, you can totally stay there. And I was like, oh, is that going to be me? Like, will I have friends who have all of these places? And kind of limiting myself because that's not the norm in my family. So I'm like, no, nah, again, just for no reason. course, there's a lot of, oh, well, all you have to do is believe it and it'll work. And I know that sounds super, what do they say? Sounds super woo woo or whatever, but it's so true, because if you don't believe that something is actually possible for you to do, how would you be able to do it? Because you think about the things that you're like, I'm going to be gung ho. Like for me, I can't even remember when, but I was like, I know I'm going to move to New York, or I'm going to live in New York. And this was before I had even been in New York. But I said this so consistently that anytime there was an opportunity or something that would put me in a space to be able to go and experience New York, it worked out and I did it. And hi, here I am in New York. So that consistent messaging that I was giving myself in my head, like, this is very much proof that if you have something on your mind so heavily and you believe it that much, that's what's going to happen. So I know everybody's like, you got to change your mindset around money. You have to change your mindset around opportunity, your mindset around creativity. Yes, 100%. I am so sorry to be the one that may disappoint you in saying that. Yeah, no, it's that. It's literally that. The way that you think is the way that you inform yourself on how to interact with any and everything. Like, there's many a thing that has happened in my life where I'm like, you know what? In thinking about it, where I am now, is like, had that one thing not happened, I wouldn't have had to step out and do this. And a lot of times, they were consequences of my own actions. But it all worked out the way it was supposed to. And in all of that working out the way it's supposed to, unintentionally to me, informed my thought process of like, I can't be afraid to lose something, lose someone, like lose an opportunity, or just be afraid to move forward because the way that I interact with people and anything else is going to change. Like, yes, it's going to change because I am changing the way that I am. So of course that interaction, that whatever, is going to change. But being so scared of that change stopped me from doing so many things. And I didn't realize that it was that. Like, the change in perception, how someone perceives me, would change so much so where it's like, oh, well, I don't think that I'm going to do that because that changes how they speak about me, or that changes how they see me. So then that, in a sense, changes me. And I thought that me not doing that thing was stopping myself from severing or changing a relationship. But it was stopping me from changing me, right? Like, I was changing, but in the wrong way, because I was starting to ignore my own inner voice, my own inner workings, to make it so nothing else changed outside of me. And me not changing also affected those friendships, even though I didn't realize it until very much later on. And it affected the way that I needed to change, because we have to change as people, as living, breathing organisms. We are consistently in a state of change, right? Like, my cells change over every day. Me 7 days ago is physically and scientifically not me now, aside from the very basis of my DNA and all that. But you get what I'm saying. Like, we change even without us knowing that we're changing, or even without us wanting that change, because you stopping change is still a change, because you're staying the same, but everything else around you changes. So how you interact with those things is going to eventually change, because people are going to be like, wait a minute, it feels off, it feels weird. Like, it's going to start to come out. And that happened with a lot of the relationships I had, friendship, familial, workplace, because I needed to recognize that I was becoming a person that I assumed that they wanted or that they needed. Because I can't say like I was becoming a person that they wanted me to become, because that's so unfair. They've never explicitly said, hey, girly pop, I want you to be like this. So one thing that I attribute that big revelation, those morning pages, I hate to be the one to admit it, but yes, journaling works. Listening to yourself when you're writing works. Especially, it specifically, I don't know what it is about being 3 pages, but the number 3 has consistently been around me for a lot. If you watched any of my other videos, the number 3 is just that girl. Like, it's 3 years, 3 months, 3 cycles, 3. It just continues to be there. Anyways, these 3 pages, it's like, I would get to the middle, or I'd get through maybe one page, and sometimes I would literally hear myself telling myself like, okay, that's enough, we don't have to do anymore. But I knew, like now in that week 5, there's something else that I need to get to. But my subconscious is like, yeah, no, girl, we're good. This is enough. So the days where I felt like that, I would literally write out exactly what I'm thinking. Like, yes, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Exactly what I'm thinking is what I wrote. So the days where I'm like, I don't really know what else to write about. There isn't really much to say. Before I could even finish writing that, more would come out. And it's like, no, actually you do have more that you want to talk about. It's just you need to talk about it. You just didn't want to talk about it. But when you start asking yourself the questions, you self's gonna answer. I forget what that Medea said. I said self, myself said, huh? Yeah. That was me. And that still is me. Going through these daily journals, because myself really tries to lie. Like, you lie to yourself so much. But when you have to read the words that you're writing down, it's like you start to feel how ridiculous it is to lie to yourself about so much. Like, lying to myself about not wanting something because I feel that's going to make me seem or be perceived as selfish, when in reality that thing that I want, or that thing that I'm just drawn to it, I got to have it, that is internally me trying to tell my external self, yeah, you actually need to do this thing, because it's going to release some of that tension. It's going to get all that stuff off your shoulders. Like, there was one specific example in the book where there was a mom that wanted, I believe it was like to do some classes or something, but it was during the exact same time. Like, some of them were during her kids' little league practices. So she was like, oh no, I'm not going to do it because I have to go to the little league practices, because I have to be there for my kid at every time. But then the mother started resenting the fact that they were there, because they're like, well, I'm here and I could be doing this. So I don't want to get to that point. And not just specifically with like bebes, me and my little future bebes, but me and my partner. I don't want to get there with my family. I don't want to get there with anyone that I'm in any sort of relationship with, because that's so unfair to both of us. I'm poisoning myself by hoping that they're like, hey, you're here all the time. There's nothing else you want to do? Why would anybody ever ask me that if I never talk about it? Why would anybody ever assume that if that's never what I've presented? But me sitting there just fuming like, I'm here and I can't believe that I'm here doing this and I could be doing 70 other, that does nothing. That does absolutely nothing. I'm poisoning myself, expecting for someone else to die. It feels real close to that, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Why would me continuing to do what I do? Why would they react any different? Like, what would change? What would change? It has to be me. It has to be you. If you want that, it has to be you. You gotta be the first one to take those steps, because I promise you people will notice. And actually, people have started to notice that a lot more in me, so much so that they're verbalizing it. They're like, I physically see a change in you. I see the way that you're presenting yourself. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna talk about that for week 8. Take that out, because that didn't happen during this week. That happened last week. So I'm gonna get into that in the next video. I promise. And then the last big thing that I pulled from this week was everything done out of obligation or like being made to be an adult. It doesn't have to be boring. Like, I had to start making it mandatory for myself to have some form of fun or enjoyment, where I make this the time for me to do the fun thing. What's been happening recently, and I'm so grateful for it, is that I have been able to plan like hanging out with my friends as this time of me just being able to let loose and enjoy life and just exist outside of being an adult. And it helps because that's one of my 12-week goals, is to have better, solid relationships. One thing that I don't really like about my mental is that I have to actually remind myself of everyone and everything. It sometimes feels like I'm a bit short-sighted in how I see others, and it's something that I've actually struggled with since I was younger. I am very much a, see no person there, object permanence. It messes me up, and I get that with people where I'll have instances even with my family, like my very close, direct family relatives. I gotta call, hey, I haven't talked to you in like a week and a half, and in my mind I'm like, Oh yeah, because we talked about blah 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 blah. Like it just happened for some reason. To me, in my mind, the next time we talk, the last time we talked just happened. Even though I conceptually understand the fact that time has passed, it doesn't feel like the time has passed. I don't know. I definitely know it's something with the way that I'm experiencing time, because there are some moments that feel so long and so drawn out, but they're shorter amounts of time, and then vice versa. So another interesting aspect to get into when we talk about time, relativity, and all that. Yeah. Yeah. But anywho, that is week 5. Thank you so much for sitting here and chatting with me, even though it wasn't a very call and response, but sitting here and listening to me chat to you about week 5 of The Artist's Way. As you can see, I don't know if it's as you can see, but I went back and watched my first video versus the ones that I've been making now, and I can see me like opening back up. Like, it feels like Kalia of the YouTubes of the past. It feels like the YouTubes of the past. But anywho, if you like this video, be sure to like it. And if you loved it, please be sure to subscribe so that you can be here with me on the rest of this little old journey and become one of my little beautiful noodles. Because I love my beautiful noodles so much. But anywho, I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Okay, bye.